Good morning, guys. It's Nick at Optima PS. I hope you're all well. Once again, thank you very much for coming back to my channel. I really do appreciate the support. As ever, give me a like and a share if you like what I have to say today. So it's been an interesting couple of days. I've not posted any long videos yet. I've done one or two little shorts, but I like to take a step back and take check of what's going on in the world before I jump on and give you my opinion. I want to make sure I'm right at the end of the day. I want to make sure I've got something to say. But it's been an interesting couple of days. It's been a very nice couple of days for most of you out there. Most people who follow this channel are XRP enthusiasts. And those who may not be XRP enthusiasts are definitely crypto related, because that's all I ever talk about. And it's been a good week, right? Let's be honest. It's been a very, very, very nice week. I think if there was any doubt that a bull run was beginning, those doubts have gone now. Where we are in that bull run is still a question mark. We'll talk about that later. And one thing I wanted to touch on is look at this visual in the background. I use this is the 3 website, right? I use this a lot because I like the graphic more than anything else. It's related to crypto. It shows you a little bit about what's going on in the world, but I like the graphic. I've never seen it like this. I've never seen so many transactions globally. Those of you who follow my videos will have seen this a lot. Ordinarily, what we see is a number of very distinguishable lines, like we have the blue ones cutting upwards across the world in a northeasterly direction. And then here we're seeing phenomenal numbers in and out of America, between America and Europe, around the world in general. I can zoom out a little bit and we'll let the world spin a little bit more and you'll see a bit more, but we don't see numbers like this. I mean, I've been around, this is my 3rd crypto bull run, and despite this graphic wasn't there earlier on, but there were never this many transactions going off at once. I don't know if that means the world is becoming more online. There's more people using crypto now than, of course, there were in the earlier bull runs, so of course there's more transactions. Or does it mean something bigger? Does it mean somewhere there's been some kind of flipping of a switch? I don't know, is the honest answer. I suspect probably not. Not in the way we mean flipping of the switch. Not in the way that means there's going to be any major, global adoption anytime in the next week, 2 months, 2 years even, perhaps. I definitely think there's incredible amounts of positivity coming out, and I think that always leads to more and more adoption. I think this will certainly be the biggest bull run when it comes to numbers of crypto adopters around the world, people that adopt the usage of crypto, whether it be guys like us, just retail guys buying it for speculation purposes, trying to make some money, or whether it be people, well, let's say institutions that want to use it institutionally, to use the phrase, but want to use it for professional reasons, be that transactional, be that to develop things on the ledgers, things like this, to develop apps, to develop companies, to develop whatever they want to develop. There's 1,000 reasons more people will come to this market, but the good news is this clearly indicates the fact that they're coming, right? They're coming. Before we get into today's video, just as ever, you mostly know me by now. My name's Nick. I am a financial advisor. I'm absolutely not your financial advisor. I don't know you. You don't know me. I couldn't possibly give you good financial advice. And so what that means is anything I say or do in this video is absolutely not to be taken as financial advice. It's just me, a bloke, expressing an opinion, sharing some thoughts on the internet in the hope that I might bring you some value. So getting into where we are today, I said it's been a great week for crypto. Let's take a look. First off, Fear and Greed was this one says 82. Some of the others are into the 90s by now. We're all getting carried away with the greed, which is a great thing when it comes to price action. Bitcoin's at $90,000, which is 11% up over the last 7 days, but it's significantly up over the last month. Ethereum, $3,000. Good to see that back up and over the $3,000 mark. Solana's at 242, which is a 17% increase in a week. The big story for us, XRP is at $1.16 now. Just so you know, that was about $1.12 when I began this video, or began preparing to run this video, which was, yeah, so around not long ago, half an hour ago, maybe, somewhere around here, I guess. So it's jumped right up to $1.16, which is lovely. For those of us with a big portfolio, you can literally count your US dollar prices going up, valuation of your portfolio going up in times like this. I sat up the other night when this happened and everything went berserk, So where were we? Sort of about here on the 13th, 14th. When was the big? So it would have been the 16th, was it? Where everyone for up. I didn't sleep very. Yeah, that's it. We hit about $1.26. I think was as high as I saw it get. This isn't always entirely accurate. It's been a great week, no two ways about it. Scroll down here, you've got XRP with a 96% week. That was over 100 at one point. Dogecoin at 27. Cardano has joined the party, 27%. Tron, Shiba Inu's been down over the week actually, but spectacularly up over the short period of time in the last month or so. Swee's done 19%. Pepe flying at 68. We expect the memes to do better. If we scroll down here, Stellar 98% in a week. Most people who follow XRP follow XLM as well. XDC also joined the party. Not quite as much, but I think it was about a 70% growth at some point. You've got Mantra there, 202%. I don't know that one. I don't know all the coins. In the last week, the biggest grower, Peanut the Squirrel, 1,319%. I didn't have any. I read an interesting story that the guy, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows the story, it was just something I read on X, so I couldn't sort of confirm the validity. I didn't do any research on it, but apparently the guy who began this dumped his entire stock on people. So he got this to be worth a certain value, and I think it was like 0.07 cents or something tiny, and he dumped his entire stock expecting just to make a quick buck and disappear. So he sold everything, and then for some reason this has moved on, and I bet he's the saddest man on the planet right now. And if he did it trying to do malicious things to his followers, the people that have bought in early, then I'm not disappointed. I don't know the validity of the story, so I won't go too much into that. But where we stand is we're looking at a very, very interesting crypto market, right? And we're going to the XRP chart now, because I wanted to discuss one thing more than anything else. There's been a lot of positive news. There's a lot more positivity to come. There's a very strong rumour that Gary Gensler is going to resign. I think by now we've all read the story. We've all seen that internal mail he sent out, which very much sounded like goodbye. Normally, when there's a change in the leading party, you tend to find that people in positions like the SEC chair would resign anyway before they're pushed. In this situation, I think we all know it's very clear that he's been told outright he will be pushed, so I expect he will go. I still have not a fear, a concern, maybe even just a theory. I'm not even concerned about it because I'm here for the long run, but he might try and drop a bombshell before he leaves. Some of his, predecessors did exactly that. Is it possible that he could do it? Yeah. Is it probable? I don't know. I think perhaps by now the landscape has changed so quickly it would be met with serious repercussions, and I think he probably will go with his tail between his legs. And don't get me wrong, the way these things work, he'll find himself in a nice cussy job if he plays the game. There's people talking about, he should go to jail. He's not going to jail. He'll find himself with a very nice, very well-paid job. He'll be laid out to pasture, and we'll never hear of him again in a couple of years' time, and it all seem like a bad memory. But there's a change in that landscape, right? We can see the Senate is now packed of pro-crypto people. We expect the SEC chair to be a pro-crypto person, or at least a crypto-neutral person, and this war on crypto to end. It's been an incredibly positive week or two. To those of you new to crypto, this will feel like some kind of amazing dream. To those of you who've been around a bit longer than that, we remember it from before. We've all seen markets do things like this if you've been around a while. But from a guy that works in the traditional finance space, let me tell you, this is not normal. A 95% week is not normal. Perhaps with the occasional penny stock, perhaps with occasional very, 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 very small cap companies that launch, you might see something like this. It's almost unheard of for a 10, 15 year investment, a company in whatever you want to call this, to see weeks like this, except for crypto. Crypto is very different. But we're just at the start, and I wanted to jump on that because right now, this is just a little quick flash across to a Google page. Number of people using crypto right now, around 562 million people worldwide, or the equivalent of 6.8% of the global population, now own digital currencies. 562 million people. That sounds like a big number, but not when you think it's 6% of the population of the planet. Not when you then think the number of people that are counted in that is anyone who holds a single Satoshi, a single unitary drop of any investment out there. That's not people who are actively using it like you and I. That's not institutions or whales with millions of dollars worth. That's the guy that spoke to his mate in the pub and said, okay, I'll open a crypto wallet. And he put $50 on and he bought, a couple of Satoshis or whatever he got at the time. That 6.8%, you could probably knock that down to 1 or 2% who I would call are serious users. And I count us in that, a guy who's got a bag with $1,000 worth of crypto, but to whom $1,000 is the entirety of his investment, he's taking crypto seriously. That's his nest egg, that's his plan for the future. He's taking crypto seriously. A guy's got $200 with the same purpose. They're serious investors. A guy who's got $2 billion is also a serious investor. A guy who put $20 on with the idea to put $20 a month, a week, whatever on, and forgot about it. I found a wallet the other day that had about, not a lot, about 100,000 Satoshis or something like that in it. But I didn't even know I had it. I logged on. I found it saved in the link has it. So the information on it saved in an old hard drive from an old laptop, and I carried my big wallets across, but I forgot about this one. It's not enough for me to care about, but hey, it's free money, right? I found it. But I was in that case, I would have classed as one of those 562 million people with having that wallet. I've got several wallets, so maybe I count 4 or 5 times in that number. I don't quite know the demographic breakdown of that. But the point is, not many people use crypto, and of those people that use it, not many take it seriously. And going back to here with XRP, so this is the 1 week chart. Let's go back to some of the big days. So this is going back to the big run we had from tiny figures. I wasn't involved in XRP in these days. Good on you if you were. You'll have a hell of a lot more XRP than me right now for a considerably smaller amount of investment. But I'm over the moon for anyone who got him around here. But we were sat looking at XRP in January 17 about $0.006. So 0.01 would have been a penny, so just over half a penny for an XRP. As we pushed into 2018, we saw this run up, and that was a phenomenal return, right? It went up from less than half a penny to 24, nearly 25 pennies, to $0.25. That's a huge increase, but take a look if you zoom out. Not nearly where it got to. I mean, this chart isn't even accurate. It was more like $3.84, something like that. I don't know why some of these charts don't reflect the true all-time highs on these figures. So it would have been more like up here somewhere, maybe even off the screen. But the point is, we're here. We're at this tiny jump right now. This is the beginning. To use a quote from a great movie.
Oh my God. This is space. We're just in the beginning part of space. We haven't even gotten to outer space yet.
I love that clip. We haven't even got to outer space yet. We're in the beginning part of space in this bull run, guys. That's where we are. We're going to see this run go phenomenally higher. Can I guarantee it? No, I can't. I guess if you take a look at this peak, this one, you could almost argue there's a macro scale falling wedge there. I don't think it is, but you can see the pattern. Realistically speaking, I think we're in a position where we ought to expect this bull run to deliver an all-time high. I expect we should deliver way through that all-time high. Well, we're at 9% in the growth today. If you follow the S&P 500 in an ETF or an index tracker, you'd expect to make 9% in a year. We made 9% in a day today. This is how phenomenally crazy this world gets. But moving on. So where we are then, I wanted to compare this with the only thing I think is remotely comparable to give you an idea as to how early we are in this market and how whatever happens this bull run, whether it goes to $3, $5, $20, $50, I'm going to say 100 is not outside the realms of possibility. It's highly unlikely, in my opinion. I think we would need to see an awful lot of things come together to hit $100. And when I say an awful lot of things, I think we'd need all the pieces of the puzzle to fall into place, which 2 weeks ago I'd have told you was a near impossibility. I never deal in absolutes because in the world of finance I can't say something is 100% going to work. I can't say it's 100% not going to work. That's not how the world works. But I think if you're looking back to 2-3 weeks ago before the election, I think we'd have seen the remotest possibility, or we'd have considered it to be the remotest possibility of hitting $100. If you look at all the money in the world, you would need a vast quantity of it. $100, circulating supply of 56 billion. You're talking 5.68 trillion, 3 times the market cap of Bitcoin. Incredibly unlikely to see XRP hit those numbers. We're now in a position where it's still very, very, very highly unlikely, but not what I would deem impossible. We'd need this government in the US to be absolutely pro-crypto. We would need the institutions, the abolishment of SAB 121 very, very early, the institutions to already have been preparing for the last 4 or 5 years, ready to flip that switch themselves. The institutions are all unanimously wanting to flip that switch, because remember, it will make them money in the long run, but in the early days, they're going to see a drop in revenue because they're going to have to reduce the fees they pass on to their clients, me and you. So you're going to find that the banks will be reluctant to adopt this. I always use the example of, the car manufacturers. They have the ability to flip the switch and go electric or hydrogen 30 years ago. The technology was there. They looked at it and thought it's going to take vast quantities of our own income, our own cash reserves to convert all our operations from a traditional oil gas powered vehicle to a hydrogen electric vehicle. We don't need to do that yet because the general public don't want that yet. It was only when Tesla came about that the people started really considering it because it was taking a piece of their profits away. Same with the banks. The banks don't need to reduce the transactional time for you and I sending money from 10 days down to 3 seconds. They don't need to stop charging us $30 for the privilege and start charging us 3 cents. I don't think they'll ever do that part, by the way. But it's not in their interest to do it immediately. But if it was in their interest, if they prepared far more than I think in the background, and they found a way where they can profiteer even more by doing this, all those pieces would need to come together still globally, not just in the US, but the US being the forerunner. I think the US intends to now be the forerunner, which is great news for us. But even then, I think $100 would be a stretch. So I don't think we'll hit $100, but I'm no longer going to rule it out. I'm optimistic that we'll hit $100 in the next 10 years. I think way more than that, to be perfectly honest. The only thing that holds back my optimism, I think XRP is essentially a $3,000-$5,000 coin. The only thing that holds that back is current market conditions globally. Again, I'll use cars as an example. Ford can make a $100,000 car no problem and it will sell in the market. To talk about $100,000 when they first came out with the Model T was ridiculous. The world wasn't there yet. $100,000 was a significantly higher amount of money back then. You can do like the equivalent of $100,000, I suppose. But the point being, the market conditions or the economic conditions globally need to be right. And I think it's a very, very long shot to hit $100 this time. But I don't think $30 is out of the question at all. My take profit, I will look at taking profits most likely. I say that because I've shared with you before. I have a fear that if the banks do intend to get involved, they'll probably let this bull run play out. They'll let us all think we're slipping into a bear. They'll let us all sell them. They'll gobble up our units, just like the ETFs have gobbled up Bitcoin. Those coins are never coming back on the market now. If something similar happened with XRP that would drive the price to $100 a coin, and we've all sold and been sat on the sidelines waiting for the crash and missed the boat, we'll never get a chance to buy back in. I don't like the idea of selling $100,000 worth of XRP and buying back in with $100,000 and getting 10% of what I used to own. So there's a chance I might not sell. I'm going to assess at the time. I'm going to use technical analysis. I'm going to lean on the expertise of some people I know and trust in the industry who know a lot more than me when it comes to charting and things like that. and I'm going to take a look at it somewhere between $10 and $30. If we don't hit $10, I'm not selling. And that's because the amount of money I would get out, it's a significant chunk of change at $10, but to me personally wouldn't be life-changing. It would be, 10 years income or something like that, which is great, but I'm going to earn income for the next 10 years anyway, so to run that risk wouldn't make sense to me. So I think between $10 and $30, I'm going to assess the market, see where we are about a year from now, and see what the charts tell me, see what everything else. There will be changes in this landscape over the next 12 months, phenomenal changes, and that's also something you need to take into account. But I'm going to look at the price between $10 and $30. If we get to $30 very, very quickly and don't show any signs of stopping, then of course I'm going to stay in. But I think realistically, you should be putting targets in your mind to take profits between $5 and $30. Not financial advice again, that's purely an opinion. I'm not even basing that on anything but a gut feeling, some technical analysis, some charts. I think that amount of money will represent a significant, if not staggering, profit margin to most of us, even if it doesn't represent financial security, financial freedom. Some people listening will only have 500 XRP. A $30 XRP at $500 is very, very nice, but it's not going to be life-changing wealth. It's just not. Well, for most people, it's not. It might make a difference that changes your life. It might mean you can boost your retirement pot. It might mean you can pay off a mortgage. It might mean you can buy that Lamborghini that impresses the girl around the corner that you want to impress. Whatever the reason might be, this could change your life at those prices, but that's not what we mean when we talk about life-changing. So I think we all have to get into our heads that this bull run is going to be spectacularly good, and the most logical course of action would be to hit where we think is the top, move into stable coins, let the world tumble and fall around us, then buy back in for half price, a third of the price. At most bull runs, the market's dropped by about 60%. The last one was a big one, 80%, but there was a lot of reasons that sent that further. I think to aim at getting back in about 50% of the peak makes sense. Maybe dollar cost averaging over that 6 months. I will probably do that with a maximum of 50% of my coins and leave the other 50% in, but I have zero intentions of spending any of this money. What this will do for me in terms of financial freedom, this market, is it means the money I otherwise would have invested, I will probably spend on a vacation and a new car, because I've got the ability to spend that money now, whereas historically I'd have been looking to save that. I invest nearly everything I earn. I live in a very cheap place. My kids go to a school that, is a good school here, but I consider it a cheap investment for my kids' education. My kids' college funds are virtually there, and I've got 10 more years before they need to go. I'm in a fortunate position that I earn good money in a low-cost environment, which has been very useful for me. That wasn't an accident. I planned my life that way. But in the same respect, it puts me in a more fortunate position than most. I understand that, and I'm not gloating. I'm just telling you that my life, I have the ability to leave money on the table where I would possibly advise others to take it off. So if I leave half my money on and it tumbles around me, I'll put the other half back in, and I won't miss any of it. I won't kick myself for not buying the new car. I won't kick myself for not taking a vacation, because I've still got the cash to do that. And I'm so confident in the long-term horizon of these investments that I won't ever need to rely on the money before it's back in profit. Well, you can never say never. As I said before, there is a chance, it might be incredibly slim now, that I'm wrong and XRP is worth nothing in 10 years' time. But I doubt it. But I'm confident enough that I won't have a moment where there's any sleepless nights about the fact that all my money is being left in. If I round trip this, I wouldn't care. The opportunity cost, I might kick myself if it does fall 70%, that I could have bought a hell of a lot more for my money. But for the actual money invested, it won't change my life one little bit. And actually, when it falls that 70%, I'll just buy back in again with normal investment money for that year. So it won't change my life. But other people are in a different spot. I don't want to go on about that too much. But what I wanted to do is show you where we are in the world, or where I think we are. So going back to that longer term XRP chart, I said we're around here. We're somewhere around here. We're probably not even at this point. That was a phenomenal growth from 0.2. So 2 cents to 24 cents is 12x already. And it went from much lower than that. So where do I think we are? Going back to this number here, 562 million people. The only thing I can compare that to is internet usage. This is the only thing that's exploded in a similar way. And the internet, I'm going to use 2001, had 498 million users. I think that's more accurate than 2002, 668 million, because if you think that half those people with a crypto wallet that use crypto technically, they probably have 20 bucks in a wallet and don't ever look at it. No one in 2002 had an internet connection and didn't go online. If you were paying for it, you were paying quite handsomely back in those days. It was quite a chunk of change to people to have the internet back then. Nobody had the internet and didn't log on. If they did, they'd have cancelled their subscription very, very quickly. No one had that. So I'm going to compare it with 2001 as a more likely comparable. And so I want to take a look at a few things, right? So there's a few things. I've been yapping on for a little bit too long. I'm going to leave this be. I'm just going to move on to a couple of things here. Right? This is an Apple stock price history. So using 2001, Apple was at 22 cents. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 20, let's call it 23 cents. By today, Apple sat at $235. So if you put $1,000 into Apple in 2001, you'd have picked up 4,347 shares in Apple. And today, what did I say the price was today? 235 bucks, something like that. Your $1,000 will give you $1 million today. Not bad, not bad. I can do the same for Nvidia. I can do the same for Amazon. I've been yapping on too long, so I won't do that. But these stocks, I can take you back to 2001 prices. Nvidia, you'd have picked up for about $1. Amazon about $1. Nvidia only just started as a company. You'd have picked up for 22 cents, 20 cents. So that just gives you an idea as to what I think is the likely outcome of this market. Now, of course, 2001 to today is 22, 23 years, and people are like, well, Nick, I don't want to wait 20 odd years. I'm talking about worst case scenarios now. The crypto world is far, far faster moving. Crypto adoption is far, far faster moving. I just wanted to give you a realistic, and it's not that realistic because I don't think they're overly comparable, but it's the most comparable investment I can share with you. I would probably say crypto will work like those stocks on steroids. So you could probably assume your $1,000 to be worth a couple of mil in 20, 30 years. And most people listening to me here, I think, have invested more than $1,000. Now, of course, we're in that bell curve. Going back to the Apple stock, we're somewhere along this bell curve. The bizarre banana zone, as Raoul Paul might call it. This is on the macro scale, but we're somewhere along in the early stages, maybe here. So again, maybe $5 becomes $235. That's a different scenario. $1,000 with a $5 price. You bought 200 units at $235. Gives you 47 grand. Not nearly as impressive. But the point is, I don't think that's what we're looking at. I think we're in these early prices still. I don't think most of us will wait for those prices to come, to be perfectly honest. I won't. I will be very happy to walk away with a significant amount of money. I've done videos on how much you need to retire. Take a look at my previous videos. I've done videos that I don't think people need as much retire. I have clients who've got $2 million of me who live an incredibly enjoyable lifestyle in retirement. $2 million pays you, give or take. I always use 5%, so you get $100,000 a year. It's more than that. We never make people 5%. I use that as a baseline. So I'd always rather promise low and return better. But give or take, people picking up $120,000 to $150,000 a year. And in retirement, when your house is paid off, your kids have done with college, that's a phenomenal amount of money. Before that point, it's a very enjoyable life. If you gave me $120,000 a year, that would give or take replace my income. It wouldn't quite match my income that I make now, but it would give or take replace it. Especially because where I live, I probably wouldn't pay tax on that income either. But in that respect, I've still got my kids' school to pay. I've still got their college funds to finish paying for. I've still got mortgages on a couple of apartments and a house. I pay rent where I live here. I could buy it outright, but I probably wouldn't bother. There's things that I would still have as outgoings that my clients who are retired don't have. But again, I wouldn't spend that much. I'm still earning, right? I don't earn. I might not work the same and earn the same amount of money as I previously earned, but I would continue earning some money. I wouldn't drop my clients and disappear into the sunset with $2 million in the bank. It wouldn't be enough. So I would probably reinvest that $120,000 a year. Or the most, I might treat myself to a new car and a vacation. I might treat myself to a new car every 3 or 4 years using the returns and that. But I wouldn't need to utilize that money to fund my lifestyle. And I think most of us are the same. And one thing I found doing this job, I've helped people retire early lots, probably 50 times. I've seen people retire before 50. And within 1 to 3 years, 75 to, I'd say even maybe 90% of those were back in work in some form. It's boring when I'm virtually retired now. I work hours. I do have clients that I look after, but I'm at that stage of life where I use the phrase I'm dining out on my hard work from the last 20 years. I get to live a very comfortable life without working 20, I don't work 20 hours a week. I play golf twice a week. I do what I like. I'm bored though. Most of my friends are still working. So it's hard. I might go to the golf course and have a round of golf with a 75-year-old guy and have 2 beers with him afterwards. I don't then crack on and have another 7 beers because there's no one to have them with. Everyone else is in work. Everyone's worried about a hangover the next day. So most of us carry on working anyway, and you'll probably be the same. But we're in a position where I expect we will make very, very healthy returns on this crypto, be it this bull run, the next one, or the one after. If I said to you today, put $1,000 into an investment right now, and I guarantee you it will be worth $2 million, $1 million at retirement, whatever that number would be, everyone would take it. You'd be a fool not to take it. And some of you might have 30 years left to retirement, some of you 20, some of you 10. But whatever age you are at, if you could guarantee that $1,000 becomes that money, of course, there wouldn't be anyone on earth who wouldn't do it. Bill Gates would do it. Why not, right? Who would turn down those kind of returns for nothing? What I'm saying is, we're at that stage where crypto is here now. The train has left the station. It's not going anywhere. And if crypto isn't going anywhere, then it's going up. I can't promise you the numbers. I can't promise you the returns. I can promise you, you are far, far earlier to this party than you could ever imagine. We're at the same stage of adoption as the internet in 2001. And look at it compared to now. 498 million compared to nearly 5.5 billion. Phenomenal amounts of growth. People talk about market caps. In 2001, if you'd said you think the market cap of the internet would be what it is today, they'd have laughed you out of the street. I remember seeing videos where experts talked about the internet would be a phase, a fad that disappeared because nobody needed it. We've got TV, we've got newspapers. We can walk into the bank and do our banking. We can walk into the bookstore and buy a book. What use is this online thing called Amazon that sells books? But Amazon was just a bookstore back then. Netflix, they laughed at Netflix. You're telling me someone's going to go online and order a movie that will be mailed to them. They'll watch that movie and mail it back, and this thing's supposed to be better than Blockbuster, where you park in the parking lot, walk in and choose your movie for the night. It'll never take on. Here we are. We've all bought into the crypto thing, guys. We know we're right. It's just a matter of time. How far along that timeline we are, I can't guarantee you. I can tell you we've made 11% today from an already high price compared to what it's been historically. I can tell you that when I began this video, or at least preparing for this video, we're about here. We've gone up, what, 5 cents? Can you remember that crazy time period a week ago when a 5 cent rise in the price of XRP, we were high-fiving, we were dancing the streets. I couldn't give a monkeys that it's gone up 5 cents. I'm not bothered today. How quickly things change in a week. Guys, I've been yapping on for 35 minutes. The point of this video is really simple. Let's sum it up. There are fantastic non-crypto related events. There are fantastic non-price action related events taking place in the world. The war on crypto is over. The banks are coming. The institutions are coming. The global adoption is coming. Look at this. If you compare this to what we were seeing, you didn't see these lines are merging. You can't even see the lines anymore. It's just one big splodge. The number of transactions here, they're flying by on the left-hand side. This is the beginning of what's going to be a fantastic bull run. This time like no other, big players are here, ETFs are here, institutions are here. SAB 121 is likely to be gone in the next year, which means banks are preparing for custodial services for you and me. Everybody's boarding this train now. They might not jump on with every last penny. They might want to hold mass adoption, mass utility adoption up a few years whilst they get their ducks in a row to make sure they're not going to go bankrupt and instead they're going to make even more money. That's all part of the system, but it's coming now. There's no getting off this train for anyone, for any of the institutions, any of the banks. My grandma, who's 95, she may never use crypto to her knowledge. When she sends $50 to me for my kids' birthdays, Christmas, she's using crypto. My mum, about to retire as a hairdresser, she literally would never dream of using crypto in her life. When she sends money from, to pay her rates, she'll be using crypto. The world is adopting crypto without the people needing to adopt crypto. This is where we're going. Unlike the internet where everyone had to sign up themselves, the world is going to do this with or without their blessing, with or without their consent, with or without their knowledge in most cases. Everyone's going to use crypto. Trust me, we are so early to this party. Do you want to rush out and buy more now? I don't know, because I wouldn't want you to run the risk of seeing these markets crash like we saw a couple of times ago and being stuck in from a $3.84 high for 7 years. It's tough. Ask some people that have done it. You may know, you may be one of those people that's done it. But in a 10, 15 year horizon, we're going to look back at $1.16, $1.12 when I began this video, and we're going to think it was an absolute bargain. What was it this morning? $1.06 this morning. We've made almost 8 cents. Almost 12 cents in a day. This morning would have been a great time to buy, right? But the point is, I'm not going to give any advice on that. You do you. If we're looking at a 10-year horizon, whatever you do today is going to make you very wealthy. More to the point, whatever you did over the last 7 years is going to make you incredibly wealthy. Over the last 2 or 3 years when prices were deflated, fantastically wealthy. My average buying, I've done the math on it, it's 52 cents. I bought a little bit a few weeks ago, just before this ran, at about 60 cents. I don't buy over 60 cents, so it was about 59.5, something like this, because I saw where it was going. I wanted to get in before 60. I like that. It's just something I don't buy over 60 cents. But it's coming, is my point. Guys, I've been yapping on. It's 40 minutes. I never go on this long if I can help it. I really do appreciate you all sticking with me this long. I'm really grateful for the support. As ever, please like, share, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Any comments are great. The only comments I tend to get are scammy people. So any non-scammers, please drop me a comment. That would be really appreciated. Guys, thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with one thing. This goes out to my good mate Tom. He's been watching my videos recently and he said, mate, I love the videos, but your sign off is terrible. You just thank people and say goodbye. I want you to come out with a catchphrase. We then had a few beers and he dropped in what he thought would be a funny catchphrase, so I'm going to use it. This is on you, Tom. My new sign-off. Taken straight from Anchorman. Stay classy, crypto. And I'll leave you with that.